And welcome to the Joe Grotesque Podcast, episode 4. I'm Joe's manager, Nathan, and it's so nice to be able to speak with all you people. We've got quite the show for you this evening.
What are you doing?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious I'm trying to do an intro here.
That's not your job, you're just a manager. You're not a part of the program.
I just thought, it'd just give it a little bit more pizzazz. And
No, there's no need for that. Where's that prick Grotesque?
Hey, come on, guys. Hey. Hey, it's Joe Grotesque here for the Joe Grotesque Podcast. And if you paid attention to the title of the podcast, you'll know what we're talking about today. And that's to beg the question, is toy collecting stupid? And I'll go over my answer to that here in a little bit, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Gore Chestnut here to tell you about something that can change a man's life. I'm talking about Sweet Alabama Rex Bear Jerky. Come on now, let's face the music here, cause you can't really play your guitar and look at the notes if you turn the other way. But seriously, we falling on hard times. We lost too many jobs and we gotta stock up on them supplies. We need something good. We need something good and cheap. That's why I go for Sweet Alabama Rex. It's the finest bear jerky this side of the Mason-Dixon. It'll kick you in the tits and leave you doing splits, I guarantee you. Don't settle for that little bitch Kentucky Kurt's bear jerky.
Oh my Kurt's.
Get you a real man's jerky, you know what I mean? Alabama Rex is the best bear jerky for when you're out of worky.
So, is toy collecting stupid? Well, I'm sure lots of people think that it is, but though nerd culture has kind of come to light here in the United States and other countries, I think the average person that sees an adult collecting toys as kind of weird. Unfortunately, we're not like Japan. Obviously, a lot of you folks listening to this are going to fall into the adult toy collector category. Now with me, I was just never able to break the cycle from my childhood. I know a lot of people that kind of faded out of that when reaching like their teenage years, but it's just something that never left me for some reason. Obviously, those toys from the 80s and 90s bring that feeling of nostalgia to me as an adult, but at the same rate, the fandom for these certain franchises, these certain toy lines never left me, so it's almost like they're part of my life. They've influenced my art, heck, even my moral compass to an extent. That being said, is it stupid to waste money and time investing or reattaining that stuff you had as a kid that maybe your parents sold at a garage sale or something? My answer is no, it's not stupid. And there's a lot of ways to look at it, like the financial aspect. Some people buy stuff to resell it, flip it to make an honest extra buck. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's never appealed to me so much, though I have sold toys. Is it because I either needed fast cash or even money to buy another toy that I really, really wanted? I'm one of those people that realize, yes, I can't keep these forever. I can't ever own everything that I've ever wanted. Sure, you can take stuff to the grave with you, but there's no way you're going to fit an entire toy collection into a casket. What I do with my toy collection at that point, I really don't know. Part of me wants to pass it down to my kids, but will my kids even care about it? Should I donate it to places that will appreciate it? Should I donate it to a museum? I don't know. And I can see the point when people say that it's kind of fruitless. You know, there's people that are homeless in the world that have absolutely nothing. And here you are, a grown man or woman, spending all this money on toys. Well, my only answer to that would be YOLO. In such a wicked world, there's very few things that bring me any sort of joy, and toy collecting's always kind of been my go-to other than drawing as far as hobbies go. Now going back to the nostalgia factor, yes, obviously going back and looking at something that was a big part of your childhood, even if it's just a big part of pop culture at the time, it brings you a note of joy to some extent. And I don't see the problem with that. And with a family to support as an adult, it's not like I buy something every week. Usually I save up some money over a couple of months' time and I'll buy a couple of things. I want to bring up the point of toys that have sentimental value. Now, maybe you've got something that was given to you as a gift at a specific time in your life, and it's a constant reminder of that thing, and it's something that's really hard to let go of, even if it doesn't have any monetary value, that just connects you with this particular moment in your life. I actually have a story about that that's kind of recent. This goes back to a friend of mine named Gus, who unfortunately just passed away this past October, and I was pretty devastated by that. He was one of my very best friends. We were brothers in metal and in Ninja Turtles and collecting in general. He was a big vinyl record collector, but he also collected toys. Gus was diagnosed with brain cancer many months before his passing. One of the times, probably a month or two prior to his passing, we hung out, and that was like the last time that we really got to hang out for real. He gradually became less and less like himself, but he was still Gus. He never lost that. Anyway, we were standing in his basement where he has a bunch of his stuff set up, his record collection and his toys. We were talking about the Funko Mystery Mini Garbage Pail Kids line, because we were both collecting that, and I almost had like the entire collection, and I was missing one of them. And without words, he kind of gave me this look like, oh, I actually have an extra one of those. And he went upstairs. I followed him up there, and he came out and handed me the figure I was missing, which was Mean Gene. No, not Mean Gene Okerlund, Mean Gene the Garbage Pail Kid. And he said, oh, well, you can have this one. And it turns out he didn't have an extra one. That was just the only one he had. And you know, he kind of realized at that point he had detached himself from those kinds of things, and he started selling his record collection. And so, you know, I thanked him for it and took it home. In the remaining time he was here, I didn't really think much of it until after his passing, and then I kind of realized that was like the last relic I had from Gus. And, you know, now it's not like exactly an expensive figure, but to me it's the most valuable thing in my collection now. And it will forever remind me of him. So yeah, maybe attachment to various toys is a little insignificant other than the nostalgia factor. But as a hobby, it's something that's always been like therapy to me. So I'm curious to know if you guys have any stories, if you have like a very special toy in your collection. I'd really like you to share your story in the comments section. Yeah, we're in really hard times right now, but this gives us a chance as a community to really come together and communicate and get away from the crappy world on the outside. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Hopefully this sparks discussion in some shape or form, and hopefully it was entertaining in some form, or at least helped you go to sleep or something. You guys, don't be strangers. You're beautiful for going this far into this podcast. I thank you all so much for joining me, and until next time, take care.